What's up? What's up? What's up? Look, I had to be about 5, 6 years old. I really believe it was before grade school. And we had neighbors that were older than us. And I hope, man, if he comes across this video, it'd be so dope if he does. But I had a friend named John Boo.
John Boo.
And John Boo was a couple years older than me. My parents would tell me that he would come into our backyard and swing on our play set for hours. But the moment that I'm expressing to you right now, I remember that we were all in our front yard. He had some older brothers. Obviously, I have an older brother, a couple of them. And I remember us fighting. I'm fighting John Boo, and he's taller than me. He's stronger than me. He's faster than me. And I remember getting I remember getting my ass whooped, right? And I remember running back to the house where like my brother was on our side of the house where his brother was on kind of like the street side. And I remember him having a bat. And I remember my brother giving me a rake. I didn't want to go back out there. I didn't want to go fight no more. I was like, no. And I remember going back out there fighting him with the rake. I don't know the outcome, and I don't remember the outcome, but because of that, in business, in sports, I've never been fearful of anything that's been bigger than me, stronger than me, that's been older than me, and I owe that to my big brother. I remember that example as a sequence in my life, and since then, I use that same sequence to encourage me to do the unthinkable. Wow. I want to welcome you today to the I Am Alpha podcast. Today, look, our guest is unique. You've heard me mention him in the last podcast because of his friend was on, obviously his best friend, or one of his best friends, I should say. And then numerous amount of times just because he's been a huge part of my life. But I want to introduce to you today my big brother, Milton Green. What'd he do, baby?
What's up, man? That's crazy.
Do you remember that?
That's crazy things kids remember. Like I guess you would remember that. It was yeah.
Did I win?
I think I don't think it was a winner in that situation. You know what I mean? If anything, me and Ernest lost because we the ones that made y'all fight. Cause y'all were good friends.
Yeah.
And y'all still became friends right after,
Yeah.
hanging out. But I do remember that. I remember, yeah, that's crazy.
And truth be told, man, I've gotten fights, real fights. That probably was like a setup fight. We were like gladiators, making them laugh probably. But
yeah.
At that moment, when I went to elementary or middle school, there were sequences where someone older than me was trying to pick on me or bully a friend, and I was never fearful of them because I was like, man, I fought John Boo.
Yeah.
I fought John Boo with a bat.
Yeah.
So the reason why I bring that story up today is to really connect with you, bro. And when I say you, I know some of you have brothers, some of you are the big brother, and I want you to know how impactful you are in fatherhood. I don't think because it's not your seed that you don't have any type of mentorship or the action, the voice, the implementation, the leadership that you provide. Don't think is not encouraging or changing someone else's life. So yeah. I'm looking forward to kind of talk to you, bro. In the comment section, I would love to see some feedback on our stories because I have no idea where this is going to turn. But first question I have to start with, and it's just because it's our subject title, and we'll start from there. Cool?
Yeah, let's go.
But before we get to our subject title, you guys know how we get down on the I Am Alpha. Today, we have peach crown in a can. And you know, if you've been watching the episodes, anytime you're a guest on the show, you get to pick whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Before we do this, why did you pick this?
Cause I've been doing a real strict diet where I can't drink anything, and if I do, it shouldn't be this sugary.
Okay.
And I just wanted something different. I know you like them too, so.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm not a real big drinker, but I'm a light drinker, so I'm a little lightweight. So I feel like I can hang out with the boys, when I pop this open. But so open one, hopefully we don't make a mess.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to.
I'm good.
All right.
So what I always do is tell you I love you, man. Hopefully you know that by now.
I do.
And it's been an amazing ride to follow you and to look up to you and to be encouraged. And it means the world to me to always have my right-hand man just a call or a text away. So I love you, man, and looking forward to us not even seeing our best days yet. We got some better days coming.
Love you too, bro.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I can handle that. So with Danny, I was all, that's straight stuff. All right. So, subject title that we have will be our first question. Did your father raise you?
Yep.
What was that like?
Man, it was amazing. You know, we obviously got one of the coolest dads in the world. As a youngster, you don't realize how cool your dad is
Until you get older.
Until you get older, and then you become a man. He was just always solid. You know, he raised us. You know, he worked a lot when we were young, out in the plants, like weird hours. Mm-hmm. So, you know, as a kid going through it, just knowing, having his presence there just was everything. You know what I mean? Even though he wasn't always having to be there, just having him there, like, you know, he was there. Like, it was an excitement sometimes, especially when me and Shannon was little, when we see him, because we would go days without seeing him because he worked maybe the night shift or the day shift. Because back then, I think they had it in 3 rotations. It was like 8-hour shifts, so he might have that midday shift. So, but nah, it was always cool, and it was interesting because that's why I think part of the reason we have such bad eating habits, but eating at any times of the day, is that we literally would be asleep, and this is before we had a microwave. Mom would wake us up to eat dinner like maybe at 12 o'clock at night because he just got off. You know what I'm saying? So it's man, that's homie G. That's all I can say.
We call our dad homie G.
He's the man. He is the man.
He is the man. And you know what's cool about that, Milton, is I started seeing myself doing so many things that he done in the past that I do now. Even where you just mentioned how certain routines for normal house, I ain't gonna say normal, for the average household when it comes to dinner. Like, my boys probably go to sleep a lot later because I don't get home until 8, 9-ish on a weekday. So I see myself smiling sometimes like, man, I'm doing what my dad did for us. Yeah. Whether that's, I don't know if that's the best thing, but what jumps off your head when I say your most iconic memory of Daddy taken up for you? And hold on, let me back up. You think about that. So people call their father or dad or pops. You're gonna notice me and Milton and the rest of the Greens, we kind of speak in our own language. So when I say daddy, that's our father, daddy. So I know they probably like, they country, daddy. But what is your
it sounds funny just calling another man daddy, but
I know.
That's my daddy.
We're in our 30s and 40s, I'm my daddy.
That's my daddy. We're going to daddy house.
And still to this day, like, hey, I call Milton, and I'm like, hey, you going to daddy house?
Yeah.
It is how it is. But yeah, so what's an iconic memory that you have, I guess a younger memory that you have of dad, like just being dad, being iconic?
Man, there's so many memories. Like, I don't know, like, you kind of mentioned taking up for me. Never really had to take up for me too many times.
I don't think I have. I do. I'm gonna share it after yours.
The only time I can think of him taking up for me is he thought I was being mistreated when I played on a basketball team. Like,
yeah, I remember that story.
Yeah, so he just basically.
You gotta tell them. They don't know it.
Okay, so basically, he didn't feel like I was being played enough because the coach's son was on the team, and the coach was playing him, and everything ran through him. This old school basketball where you ran plays and just, and they would only play me when we play against another team that had real athletic people, and they needed somebody to play defense. I was the defensive stopper. I fouled a lot too, and but he's like, nah, I ain't doing that, because he already had a bad experience in Pop Warner type football. Really? When he was younger. So he really did. He wouldn't let us play Pop Warner. He said you couldn't play football until you got to 7th grade. He said, I'll let you play basketball. But he kind of got mistreated when he was younger in the same fashion. So he was like, nah, I'm not gonna let you do that. We'll let you play when you get to school.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna name the town because it's a town that
I already know what you're gonna say.
A lot of our people stay in now, but at that time they didn't like a lot of black people, and it was a district game, and I remember playing them, and it got tense. And I remember the parents of our school had to walk us out, not just the parents, Milton, I'm guessing, were you there?
I was
You
there.
were recording probably, so walking us out. I remember him naming something to my dad, and my dad was like, I'm from Fifth Ward, Texas. And I was like, oh snap, that's my dad. Like, I've never seen my dad like jump crazy, like ready to fight over me. And my dad talking about, I'm from Fifth Ward, Texas. I'm like, they about to throw down.
Yeah.
But that was one of the first memories that I can remember Daddy, like, because he didn't really talk much when it came to his kids on defending them, because I guess mom did so much.
Yeah, my mom.
But yeah, that one, and probably recently, man, I don't know. So Tina made me mad, bro. So I'm doing this run challenge, and I wanted to run. We just moved in this neighborhood. It's a nice neighborhood. And we got dad stories all day.
Yeah.
So my dad, I think he's getting the house painted or something. He's at the crib. And Tina was tripping. Like, I'm 6'3", 210 pounds, dog. Like, I'm going to hold my own, right? She's like, I don't want you running in the neighborhood. It's a lot of tension going on. I'm like, dog, I'm good. It's 7:30. It's just getting dark early in the winter. So my dad's over. So she's like, Mr. Green. She not to get my dad. Mr. Green, shouldn't Chris not be running at a time like this, dark by himself? And he become like a Doberman. Yeah, like, you right. He shouldn't be running. I'm like, Daddy, like, I'm almost 40. Like, I'm good. No, you shouldn't be running. I'm like, man, look, I'm a grown man. I'm about to go run, bro. And he was like, well, I'm gonna follow you in the car. I'm like, homie, man. Like, first of all, I'm not running that fast.
That's gonna look more suspicious than anything.
So I'm like, dude, like, I'm not running that fast. I know you didn't watch some movies. Like, so he getting it. I'm like, I'm upset. So he go get in the car. He just sitting there. So I'm stretching for like 15 minutes. He just watching me stretch in the driveway. I get in the neighborhood, because I'm not running fast. He going like 3 miles, 5 miles per hour. Cars blowing the horn at him. They going around him. Then we start looking suspicious in our neighborhood. Why is this car following this dude? And once I get in the house, I'm irritated at Tina. I'm just like, man, that was too much. And Daddy was like, you got to think more of yourself. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, Dad, I'm not Muhammad Ali out here running. He was like, you better, Muhammad. You great. So I was just
That's homie T, man.
So yeah, even from him being in our age to now in his late 60s, going to 70, he's still the same way. Obviously, because we're brothers, we have so many memories, and I'm hoping you guys enjoy these stories. But I want to dig into you also, because you're a lot of people know how close we are, and if y'all don't know, we're super close. But you've always kind of been someone I look up to for leadership when it comes to the way that you've done things. But also, I would ask you, especially as I've gotten older, I would be like, dude, like, how do you deal with marriage with bank accounts or whatever it is, right? And I've come to you for transparent moments. Did you ever notice yourself as that person for me, or you just being a brother and you didn't even consider that?
You know, I just, like, with my family in general, you know, with my mom, actually, you know, she raised us just to be close. But even as a little boy, you was a cool little boy. You was just a cool little kid, you know what I mean? Like, even when I had girlfriends come over, they was like, "Ooh, he gonna be something. He gonna be something. He just, you know, he just got it." But nah, you always been a cool kid. And one thing sticks out to me the most that kind of convicted me one time. I was mad at Shanna about something, and you was a little boy, and he was like, "That's my sister," you know, and you know, I'm taking up for my sister, you know. And I said, "Man, you right. That's how it should be." You know what I mean? Because sometimes
I'm still like that with Shanna.
You are like that with Shanna. You was like that the other day, and you know, I think sometimes in that time period, a lot of the TV shows and programming, the brothers and siblings rivaled a lot, and they fight and they didn't get along. And I think, you know, that for me, that broke that mindset. I said, you know what, that's right. That is my brother. That's my little brother. That's my sister. You know what I mean? We shouldn't be rivaling about stuff like that. So just you standing up for her as a little kid.
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, you was a little boy, and it's funny, but nah, I don't know. I never, you know, I've always, like, especially the older you got, looked at you as like my best friend. Like, I always say Shannon was my first best friend, but you know, you're my brother. You know what I mean? So it's almost like you say friend, but your brother is like a different level from friendship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's cool because I've always looked up to you, like even the way you dress. I don't know about now.
That stopped probably somewhere in college when I.
But I remember being smaller than you, and I wanted to wear your clothes. I remember in 3rd grade, you had this purple reversible jersey. You probably don't even remember this stuff. But you had a purple reversible basketball jersey. Just a universal jersey with no number, no nothing on it. And on Fridays, Miss Porter would take us, shout out to Miss Porter. On Fridays, we got to go to the gym at our elementary to play basketball. And on Fridays, I would wear that jersey. And it would be hanging down to my knees. But I felt like I would play better than everybody else because it was my brother's jersey. It was like, it was unique. And I would take it out the dirty clothes laundry, right? Yeah. So it didn't smell good. I didn't wear it to school. It was just like I put it in my backpack, and for that 30 minutes, I would go do that. I remember you having the gold Turkish chain with the G on it. I wanted one so bad. The Agassi shoes, the Warren Moon jersey. Like, I can remember all these iconic outfits that you've had. I wanted a contour with 17s with bead in the back. Like, I wanted to be so much like you. And whenever you told me something, it was like, oh, my brother told me. Yeah. It had to be done. Now that we're older, I want to ask you this question. After you hearing what you just heard, did you ever tell me something and you didn't even think like it was the truth or not? You just gave me your response, not knowing that I took it to the bank, and if somebody told me something different, I was ready to fight for it?
Man, if I did, I don't remember, and I can't think of nothing that I ever told you like in a way like that. You know what I mean? Like if I told it to you, it was because I believed it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can't think of nothing. Can you? Can you think of anything that I've told you that like maybe you found out wasn't true? Shanna says that I do.
Shanna says it a lot.
But I mean, we were, 5 and she was probably 5 and I was probably 7. So what do a 7-year-old know? But
I can't remember. I would say I don't remember nothing you telling me that wasn't correct. But I do remember you telling me things, and I ran with it, especially from a sports standpoint.
Got you, yeah.
Like you would say something like, I wanted to play football, like you. All my brothers play football. Robert was a running back. Yeah. Sean was a quarterback. Milton was a quarterback and cornerback. So I wanted to play football so bad. So whether it was their leftover football pads or jerseys, I used to put them on and run around the house and hit the walls and stuff, wearing their helmets. But I remember you once telling me we were playing kill the man with the ball. And for those that are not familiar with football, like outside football, whoever has the football is no teammates. You just try to tackle them. Mm-hmm. And I remember one day you said, nobody can knock you down unless you fall. So I thought I was going to be the most powerful running back because I had the mindset that nobody could knock me down. The only reason why NFL players fail is because they wanted to be tackled so they wouldn't hurt themselves, or because, it was more yards to get later on in the game. So I ran the ball with a mentality, nobody's going to knock me down unless I fall. So I remember just being that crazy kid playing street football with that mentality because you told me that.
Wow. Man, it's crazy how kids like really soak up it like sponges. Yeah. Because, I can remember, we got 2 older brothers. I can remember things that Sean said to me, because I looked up to him, he's a quarterback, first black quarterback in Channelview. And he was just a man, at that time, and I can remember some stuff that he said to me that impacted my life. Like, he hated algebra. So, because he hated algebra, I hated algebra.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
true.
Yeah, it's like when you're in a little brother relationship with your older brother, it's like everything's gospel. You know what I mean? Because that's your big brother. You know what I mean? So it kind of being in the middle in that aspect. I think with you, I wanted we were close, but he was the type of person. Oh, you better not wear my stuff. You know what I mean? Like and Sean Robert was the same way. So they just kind of had that rivalry sense. But I think for me, I wanted to break some of that stuff. Like, oh no, it's you're my brother. Yeah. If you want it, take it.
I got a confession.
What's that?
I think you know this. I used to steal the change out your car.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I don't know who. I don't know.
So he used to. So especially like when I was younger.
I'm pretty sure I stole plenty of change out of mom and them car, all that.
When you became to the age of like, dang, I probably was too old to be doing that then, but I think when I was in middle school, like 8th grade. I remember, I think you worked at a restaurant.
Yeah, I was making money. I didn't care about
Yeah,
change.
he had change all in his aprons and stuff. So anytime I needed like $3 to go to like Blockbuster at that time to go rent a game, I would go in there with
Well, what comes around goes around, because I used to get Sean.
The same way.
But I used to get him from cash, though. Like, I got him for cash. Like, he would go out the night before, been drinking, come back, you know. Let's see what he got in his pocket. He ain't gonna remember. He spent it.
Sean, that's cold-blooded, man.
He probably watching. Man, I knew I had some more money.
Cold-blooded. He gonna ask you for it.
Oh, man.
But, okay, let's tie this in together, guys. So, you had me as a little brother, and I'm telling you right now that there are things that you said that still stuck with me all the way to where I'm at now, and I operate off that. But you also was the big brother to AJ and Steven, aka Taco. Was that something that you noticed at that time then? Because they didn't have an older brother.
Yeah,
so you knew that off top?
Yeah, because y'all were good kids, man, and you know, you could tell when somebody looks up to you. You know what I mean? Because they always treated me like a big brother. They always respected me. You know, we always played. Like, we played basketball together and all of that. They was over every day. You know what I mean? They were like little brothers, man. Yeah. And Taco still is. I don't consider my friend. I consider him a little brother because he's a little brother. You know?
And it's so cool that we're older now. We travel and, you know, we've been to weddings, wherever. And now we can have these conversations. And the reason why, bro, I want to have this conversation with you is because a lot of times you're in a relationship or a brotherhood with someone, you don't notice the impact that you have in someone's life. And if I was to give you an example, I want you to think of your very first memory of someone that told you something that might have not been right, but you lived off that expectation and opinion. So I want you to know, if you do have a little brother or bro, if you do have some type of mentorship at your church or something, if you have especially years of maturity over them, they look up to you, and everything that you say and do can actually be the reason why they operate, find success, or don't find success is based upon your opinion. So, bro, I'm talking to you specifically. I want you to make sure that your words or affirmation is something that's going to make them better mentally, emotionally, physically, and even spiritually. I want you to know that when you bring them around or when they're around you, they are watching you. When you take them to that basketball court, they're watching you, right? So I've been to courts with Milton. I've been to the Kappa when the Kappa was Kappa with Milton.
And y'all were like ninth grade.
I was younger than ninth.
Yeah, I was in middle.
I was in middle school.
I took
first
you,
time I went.
AJ, and Taco.
Actually, I could have went even earlier because you locked your keys in the car. And Mama and I went down there, but I was low key. I was intimidated. There's ass everywhere.
I told you, I said, you want to stay? Did I ask you, you want to stay? Oh,
and Mama actually was cool enough to be like, you want to stay with your brother? I'm looking around like,
nah, I want to go.
No, man, I ain't ready for this.
Oh, man.
But all right, so now that you've heard that, you've heard me say that, you see it, what would you say now? Because you're also a leader in education, right? So you've coached football. Before you did Mean Green, you coached football for how many years?
Man, football I did 10.
10 years. So we talked to Sean Wilburn because he's currently still in education and coach. What have you realized outside looking in to kids that did have a brother versus kids that didn't have any mentorship? Was there really a thing that played a big role, or could you notice a kid, better question, could you notice a kid without mentorship?
Yeah.
Off top?
Yeah, off the top.
What would be the behavior?
A lot of times they act out, you know what I mean? They're always serving for attention. They're always going over the top. Even with some of my friends that didn't have older brothers or really a strong, positive male figure in their life, they was just over the top with things. But you know, back to the kids, you could tell when they had somebody in their life that they could rely on. And a lot of times I think with them it was like somebody, man, that's on the same team as I am, especially, you know, in an area that I've coached in. It's been some you know, economically challenged areas. So a lot of times, you know, unfortunately, people you got to look up to is not always the best person because they're doing what they got to do to survive. You know what I mean, or whatever the scenario might be. So yeah, I can identify, because one thing, like speaking with some of the older male teachers, he's like, man, they would purposely bring a kid over and say, hey, come over here. He's going to be completely uncomfortable because he's not used to being around strong men.
Admin would tell you that.
Yeah, grown men. Yeah,
Okay.
grown men. Just people older than me.
Okay.
So if I'm in my
So not the school, you're just talking about.
like the other teachers, like
Okay.
the older teachers, like
Okay.
you know, I could, you know.
I got you.
And we would do it, just hey, come over here, and then they get really fidgety because they just not used to being around that many men like that are, you know, positive males, or they don't have a man in their life. But yeah, brothers, man, like I could like the guys that have brothers, it's just a different kind of swagger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a different kind of swagger.
Because I mentioned this about Daddy, but it has to be more so from you as well. I had so much swag when it came to women or girls, whatever age. It was because I seen the way that you operated. Whether you were out there really with that swag, when you told me or Jai, whenever y'all hang out, I was just like, man, my brother got like the women. So I just always felt seeing you in high school, this is gonna be really weird to a lot of you. Back when we were growing up, right, mid-90s is when you graduated, we didn't have cell phones where you can take pictures and all your glossary of pictures are on your phone.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you actually have a photo album. So I remember Milton having a photo album, and he went to his junior year, he transferred to another school. I mean, we can say what we want on the I Am Alpha. He went to North Shore. It's a powerhouse football.
Yeah, North Shore,
You
baby.
know, shout out to East Houston. And I remember him taking these pictures, and he had all these pictures, and every picture he had like a different girl, and they'd be cute. I'm like, my brother, the Mac out there, right? And seeing you do that, and then you would just, it's funny now because I probably wouldn't recommend everybody to do this, but I remember like you taking me to go see How to Be a Player, right? Like, I don't even know if you remember that. Like, I would go see these types
What's
of
I good, brother?
But because we went through, like, it was just me and him to watch the movie.
Yeah.
AMC 30 at South 45 South. I remember it. And we went in there and we watching the movie. I was just like, dang, my brother is the man. So when it came to me to talk to someone my age, you know, in high school, whatever age I was, I had that swagger, like you just said, because you can tell who had that big brother or that factor. Question I have for you now is, with that being said, have you ever noticed that the factors that you poured out as a big brother, do you think you would have had those same factors if Dad wasn't in our life?
I think everything shaped it. Most definitely, no. Most definitely, if Dad wasn't like that, that's where it all starts. You know what I mean? I know I wouldn't be here if Dad wasn't in my life.
Well, I'm just saying from a standpoint, not just for the success you found,
Yeah.
but also, let me put a little foundation to this question.
Okay.
Because I'm speaking like everybody knows the life experience you and I have had. One of the things I want to brag on my brother Milton about is it takes a very confident person to be the videographer versus the person that speaks on the camera. Like right now, there's somebody actually hooking all this up, having the lights, controlling the audio, but they're not going to be known that they did this project. It's going to be known that you and I were on camera. A lot of bulk of my success, I've been on the camera, but there was always someone behind the camera putting me in position, from allowing, you know, recording every single basketball game that I pretty much played in since I was in 6th, 5th grade, all the way up to semi-pro. You recorded those games, right? Or rebounding for me to get me some more jump shots, open up your school to let me get some workouts into the gym. With Milton Green, like a lot of times you guys see me as the face, but man, there's a freaking team and family that support a lot of the decisions. So you did a lot of that as big brother, right? Now that I've laid the foundation, do you see yourself being that type of person without Daddy in our life? Or do you think you're just naturally good-hearted? Is it something that Dad did to show you that light? Because I want to respond to that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, most definitely. Because Dad is the most giving person that I've ever met. You know what I mean? We use that term lightly. I give him the shirt off my back, but he really would. Like Dad gave me his gold tooth.
Oh man, I got a story about that, but go for it.
His
Go
gold
for it.
tooth. You
Go
know what
for
I mean?
it.
So that's my dad. So you know, that's when gold started getting. I'm trying to wear his gold tooth. You know what I mean? I'm walking around with my my tongue like this.
Yeah.
So I sort of stayed. But no, most definitely,
gonna share that
there's no
story one
way
day.
possible that like just everything, just the whole, just it's so many layers to that question because no, I wouldn't be. You know what I mean?
As we're communicating and we're sharing these stories and we're laughing about it, I'm thinking like, man, there's a source and there's a common denomination between common denomination. I said it right? Common denominator.
Denominator, right?
Common denominator. Yeah. Thank you. There you go. I knew it wasn't right. But I look at Dad, and this just hit me as we're talking right now. This is not nothing I wrote down. Dad has never been the person on camera when it came to a lot of success for our family. Like if you think now, as Mama has passed on, Daddy now voices his opinion way more than I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. And I start to this image came in my head that he's been holding the recorder to put us all in platform to be in a successful position because he was the behind the scenes guy. And I'm saying that to say that I want to encourage someone, man, like the person that found success don't have to be the person on the camera.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like I believe there are more editors in the movie industry that get paid more than majority of the actors that are out there or producers, right?
Yeah, the producers make more money than artists.
Right.
So in music.
That's the encouragement, man. Don't feel that just because you're not in the spotlight or everybody don't notice all the actions. I believe that's more, I guess, going into, this is probably going to be the theme of today's subject title. It goes more into fulfillment.
Right.
I think my brother Milton gets more fulfillment for me getting a Division I scholarship versus him going out right after school, right? I think instead of him hitting a happy hour at 5 o'clock once he get out of school, he probably get more fulfillment in seeing me score 30 points because he helped me get more jump shots in, right? Or I see my dad get more fulfillment when he see his sons become successful in whatever industry they chose because he was, behind the scenes, not out clubbing or whatever else he could have been doing in his 20s, 30s, and 40s. So I want to salute you for doing that. But now that I've kind of orchestrated what I wanted to ask you, because I wanted them to have a background of it, do those similarities for you, are those similarities like noticed by you now, or did you notice those similarities 20, 30 years ago?
The similarities between me and Dad?
Yeah, from like being behind the scenes, because y'all, to me, y'all act the same.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Like the impact that he's had, man, and it's just kind of hitting me like, I want to be so much like Dad. And my Sean and Robert, older brothers, they had an impact on me, some of the things they did. But my dad, man, like when he would tell a story, like nobody tells a story like Dad. So when Dad tells a story, it's like I wanted to do the same thing.
Right.
Like he always tells a story how he started working young. He was 12 years old.
We know the stories.
Roofing houses, right?
Houses.
I wanted to go out there. So you know what?
I never wanted to roof the house.
I didn't want to roof the house, but I wanted to make money at a young age. And this is gonna make y'all laugh. And he supported this too. This is the crazy thing. I was young, man. I don't even know. I was like in the 5th grade, 4th grade. And it was right around the time when I ran through that window. So I was in the 5th grade.
You ran through a window.
I ran through a class door. That's a whole nother story. But I was like, man, I'm looking through a magazine. I'm like, what can I do to make money? Because I want to be like Dad. Like Dad was making grown man money when he was, 12 years old. So I came across like a modeling thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know it's hilarious.
Tell me this. I don't know.
So I was like, you know what? They make a lot of money, I'm sure, just to be a model or be on TV. So that's how one of the ways I started getting into that, or wanted to get into that. I said, Dad, I want to go through a model. I want to be a model. I told Mom all that. And he literally took me out there, and it would end up being kind of like a little, not a scam, but a way for them to make money. They would basically charge you for the photo shoot, say they would find you a thing. And he supported it. And I was like, but my whole motivation behind it was trying to make money. And then he later on told me when we got older, I just thought you was going through something because you had that big scar. And you had like low self-esteem.
I got to know my dad. Whenever y'all meet my dad, you'll get it.
Yeah, but man, just like that thought process, like how he always like, man, he basically became the breadwinner when he was 12 years old for the whole house. And that mindset, like, that's why I wanted to work so young. Or I was, even before then, we used to walk around cutting grass and doing whatever we can. Because I was like, it was a direct result of what he did when he was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's dope. I like the fact that you pointed out that nothing's new under the sun. And I think when people realize, or men, especially men, when you realize that there's somebody that probably done it before, and if you can get the guidance or watch someone that's doing the success of it, I think it puts you in position to really succeed. After saying that Daddy went over and beyond to potentially help you with a self-esteem or a confidence challenge, do you ever notice yourself doing that as a dad now? For those that don't know, he has a beautiful, golly, she's getting grown on me, beautiful 13-year-old girl. Shout out to my niece, Asia.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that a lot of your patterns, either you parent like dad or you don't parent like dad? Which one do you think you do, and why?
I think you do both. I think you evolve. You try to evolve. You try to take what you liked, what you did, what they did, and you implement it. And then if there's something they didn't like, then you don't do it, or you try to do it differently or better. So I think you do both.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I think once you've had, and I call this a level of success of helping people and reap the benefits of doing it, then you look for opportunities to try to help people. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a blessing on the other side of just doing for others. It's the golden rule, whatever your religion is. That's the one scripture or verse that's in it.
I love it.
You do unto others as you want done to yourself, or you
it.
reap what you sow, whatever you believe. But and I think like that's why Dad always got stuff coming in, because he's that
Planting so
guy
many
that
seeds.
just he looks for opportunity to help people or to give. You know.
Do you remember ever feeding the homeless with Daddy?
Mm-hmm. That was something he was really passionate about. Really passionate about it. So
Let's play a game. Let's play a game on the I Am Alpha podcast. Let's do 10 things, and we'll finish with this, because it's going to take maybe at least, I don't know, I'm not going to put a time cap on it. It's going to take some time. But let's play a game of, we alternate between things that Dad has done that has impacted us, and we mimic it. Okay. I'll go first. And when I say something, you give me some feedback, and I'm curious if you remember it or not.
Uh-huh.
Number one, and we're doing a total of 10. Number one, brush my teeth, wash my face, and do my hair. Like, Daddy is such a clean cut, gotta go out, never let nobody see him, like, not in the best manner of however he can be approached. And what I mean by that, guys, Milton can, hopefully he can remember some of this. When I was little, now I've gotten a little lazy with hair, just because hair is not as trendy when it being cut or not. But I remember having to have a haircut every other week or every week, and I remember staying up in the 90s. I used to iron my jeans for hours because I'm from Houston. And in Houston, we had Stay Flow. And in Stay Flow, you didn't wear your jeans unless they stood up on their own, right? Yeah. So, like, I would stay up. Looking back, I probably had so much more time I could have played, but I wanted to look so right for the next day. And then I only became part of, I used to obviously mimic you, but Dad was he still is a person that has to be, like, presentable any single time that he leave the house. Do you remember that? Do you agree or disagree?
No, I agree. It's crazy because Dad was kind of like, he's old school, like, he get dirty, but when it's time to clean up, he clean up. You know what I mean? He's a stickler. He gotta look a certain kind of way.
Yeah. And he'll cap on us.
Yeah.
He'll get on us a little bit.
Yeah, he will. Y'all do nothing with that hair.
Yeah. What did he tell me the other day or other month? It was something about my hair. I forgot. But he got on me a little bit about how I looked, but yeah, I'm sorry. Here you go. Number 2. What you got?
My biggest thing would be the talk. You know, as they say, the talk, as far as the impact that I feel like it had on my life. We had, you know, and it wasn't a big talk. It wasn't a long talk. It was and I'm sure he had it with you. Hey, you got your car.
Yeah.
Don't be having a whole bunch of guys in your car.
I said this in the last podcast.
Yeah.
Said this on the last podcast.
Don't have a whole bunch of guys in your car. If you're gonna ride around with a girl or some girls, and you know, you less likely to get pulled over. You know,
I believe it saved me.
Yeah, that like going through that period, being 16, and then doing that, like implementing that in my lifestyle, it was a big difference because, you know, 90s mass incarcerations going on, you know, east side of Houston. Now, I mean, I look back at it now and say, man, we went through some stuff, man. It was some characters out there that were in law enforcement that did us dirty out there, you know. So that really, I think, that's why when I think about like one of the number one things, it was that conversation, that realness that was just like, man, don't, you know, this is what you need to look out for. It's like at a certain point, he like you said, he didn't talk that much, but when he spoke and he said something, it was like, man, it's like even. We used to get in trouble. I got in trouble. Like, y'all wasn't as bad. I got in trouble.
He got in trouble a lot.
But it was okay, mama. Yeah, I'm gonna whip him. I'm cry. I'm gonna tell your daddy. Oh,
it was different.
It was different.
It was different.
It was just a different level of.
You know I love you, huh?
Yeah.
You know I'm only doing this because I love you.
I'm doing this because I love you. To be
I can see myself doing that to the twins.
Man, but now that to me, when I think about how my life, how so many times. Had I not heeded that advice, my life could have went a different direction. Just not that one.
I love it.
Situation.
I love
that one conversation.
I love it, man. I 100% agree with you. I had the talk as well, and I said on the last podcast, 100% agree with you. Number 3 for me would be public speaking. You know, a lot of people say, or I've read that the fear of public speaking is sometimes more fearful than people dying. And I've never dealt with fear from public speaking because of my dad. He's been a minister since 88? I think 1988 is when he went into ministry. So even as a young kid, I'm evolving my mindset to kind of figure out what's right, what do I want to do, what can I do. And I've always seen my dad talk to multiple people or the masses of people. So now when it gets to a time where I got to speak on camera or speak in front of groups of people in training or, I don't know, speaking to people's staff, facilities, athletic teams, I've never had a sense of shyness or not having the confidence to speak in front of people because of Dad. And seeing him do that, he never took me to a school, or I never went to a certain class, or I didn't just have that it factor. The reason why I had the confidence is because I've seen my dad do it time and time, Sunday after Sunday, and I'm grateful for that, for sure.
Yeah.
What you got, number 4?
I would say I would piggyback off of that and say him being a minister and installing the values of our belief system in us at a young age.
Yeah.
And not only that, living it.
Yeah.
You know, because there's people that preach it but don't walk it up. And you know, he's far from perfect. All of us are, but he believes.
Yeah.
And he's always believed. And I can just think back to my friends that didn't have dads in their lives. And the things that I thought was common knowledge wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we never really had to have the talk about having sex and all of that. I mean, it was not really because you know, that was addressed in what we learned in our faith. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I just noticed when I was hanging out with my friends, at some point in time, I thought I took that as a sign of weakness because I was a Christian in a sense. Because people might think I'm soft. So I was kind of really quiet a lot around my friends, especially like when we were doing things that I necessarily, man, I know we're not doing the right thing right now. You know what I mean? So I was kind of convicted, and I can see as in some of my friends, they wasn't because they didn't have that mentorship.
They didn't know. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that, and again, is one of the, when I think about these things sometimes, is one of the ways that he has made a huge impact in my life, which is that base, that discipline of.
I love that. I think that's dope. That's dope. What was that, 5? So I'm on 6.
That was 4, we're on 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on 5.
Yeah.
What a kind of, you know what? Shout out to Tina. Tina behind the camera, y'all. Tina behind the camera. She here supporting.
Do it all.
I think naturally, out of flesh, not just men, but it can be women too. Sometimes you don't want to be married. Like naturally, the world teaches a man to be single as long as you can and be with everybody. You don't want to be locked down. My dad, and I say this with everything, my dad made it cool to me to be married.
Oh yeah.
My dad showed me how being married builds the kingdom, how being married makes you better, how being married can take you to the next level, how being married is the most fulfilling thing because of the fruit you can bear in a marriage, how being married is the thing that most people miss out on and is out of ignorance. My dad showed me that being married is the thing that he cherished most than any other thing he's ever achieved. So I can go on and on about what my dad did in his marriage, but that was the fuel for me wanting to be married. That was the fuel for me wanting to one day to treat my wife the way that he treated my mother.
All right.
And I believe that if I did not have, no, I don't think, I know without a shadow of a doubt, if my father wasn't in my life and he wasn't married to my mother and treated her the way he treated her, I probably would not be married today.
I 1,000% agree. 1,000% agree.
100%. And it's one of those things that it takes a man to be a man at that moment. Mm-hmm. Because the world wants you to do everything else, but it takes a man to do that. And I'm so I'm at awe at moments after I think of the things he's achieved. But it's so many questions sometimes I want to ask him because it had to be temptation, right? It had to be flesh moments, but somehow, some way, man, he did it, and I salute him for what he's done. But yeah, my number 5, I honor my dad the way that he made marriage look amazing and showed how to treat and take care of a woman and the household.
Man, that's I wasn't even thinking about nothing else because I was.
I don't even know my next point.
Because it made me. That's gonna be my number 6. Is actually piggybacking that because when you were saying that, it reminded me of of some of my childhood friends coming up, and like one friend, I remember him saying it, and we were young, but it's just funny how certain people can say certain things and it stick with you. He said, because my dad was known as Chili, Chili. He's just like, Chili doing it right. You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't get it then.
He doing it right, man. He got, got a wife, got his kids, got it, he working here. He doing it right. And I thought about it. I was just like, I remember hearing that, and I was like, man, that's pretty dope when your friends, the people you realize that, and maybe, I've heard you say in other podcasts and just in general talking, like how he's impacted a lot of our friends and a lot of your friends, just doing what you're supposed to do as a person. You know what I mean? And I think culturally, it's like you said, it's challenging sometimes because it's almost like it's a programming in a sense. Like especially growing up in our age group, it was, and I guess it's been going around. You know what I mean? It's not cool to be monogamous. So, but but it like when you see it done the right way, you know what I mean? It's because I've been single and I didn't like being single.
Really?
Yeah. mean, I liked it, but I didn't like it. Like I didn't have peace.
Yeah.
I didn't have peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a lot more peace as a married man versus
That's real.
versus
That's
being in the streets all the time.
You think we can get Liz on a I Am Alpha podcast
Probably
with Tina?
not.
Probably not. We might.
She might.
She might. If
But,
Tina do it. But you know what, Milton? I believe that I like being single, but I didn't like not being able to share my dreams. I didn't like not being able to depend on someone. Being single, I wouldn't tell an average chick that I'm just talking to my dreams, my ambition, my philosophy, what I want to create in legacy.
Yeah.
So now that I can, I wouldn't change that for the world. And part of that came because Dad showed a blueprint of how when you sow your seeds together and how you can dream together and achieve and depend and lean on each other. I mean, that's marriage. And we will definitely have a serious.
Yeah, that's a whole nother series.
We'll definitely have a series
I
on it.
I would have to I got to retract that. It was twofold to that.
Yeah.
If my belief system was, if I didn't have the belief system
And faith.
then I would.
Yeah.
Like I probably, that would be the step number one. I wouldn't gotten married.
Yeah.
But number two is seeing him doing that, like doing in the way that they, the relationship they had, the bond they had, and just whatever, what they created. Those two elements are the big factors with marriage. But
That's dope. So we're on 7?
you're on 7. Yeah, I piggybacked on yours.
No,
right
that's
there.
good. That's good. Number 7, as I'm freestyling this, I would say You know what Dad did? He does still an amazing job. Is that family comes first.
Oh yeah.
Now that I'm older and I've grown with so many great people and met so many people that don't have what we've had as siblings and everything else, and parents, he always, it don't matter what, we're going to get Uncle Baby Joe on here one day, but it don't matter what Uncle Baby Joe or whoever else, family always came first.
Oh, yeah.
And not from a mistake. I'm not saying, when I say family comes first, I'm not saying from a sense of always forgiving a family member. I'm just saying, even during your personal journey, things that you want to do, sometimes out of selfishness, he always put his family first. And I will always remember the story. I'm not going to go in great detail about it, but we had to help our older brother out. I was really small. I was
I'm still mad at you about that.
But we had to help our older brother out to get him out of a situation, and that was the savings of us going to Disneyland or Disney World, wherever it was. So, but family comes first, and the beauty of that, a lot of people may have not done that because that was not his bloodline son.
Yeah.
But to Daddy, it doesn't matter. That's family. So my number 7 would be family comes first, literally, and I've experienced it with him.
Man, yeah, family most definitely do come first. Even with his siblings, man, I remember as a kid, he would drop anything that he's doing if somebody's in help, needs help. So
we must be the same though.
Huh?
That's where we had to get it from.
Yeah.
Mama and them siblings wasn't as close.
They wasn't as close. They were close.
Not all of them.
They
had moments.
They had moments. Man, a lot of good memories with that aspect of it, just family first. I mean, he most definitely preached that.
Yeah. Family first.
Man, 8. What do I got? 8.
Last couple, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this show. I know it's me and my bro, man, but this is how we connect.
His freaking work ethic. His work ethic. For y'all don't know, he worked in plants, man. He worked for, almost 30 years.
38.
And he was 38?
38.
How old am I? Dang, I'm older. I'm 40-something, y'all. Yeah, he was,
38 years.
Because he started, like, right when I was born, or right after I was born, or something. Yeah.
I think so.
But no, man, this guy would wake up at 3 in the morning to be at work for 4 or 5. and no complaining. And that's maybe going to sleep at 12 at night. You know what I mean?
Because he was cooking.
He was cooking,
Because
or
he was being a
cutting the
dad.
yard, or we had a basketball game.
Went to
or,
fix Ain't Lane. Air
Air
conditioning.
conditioning. Just always just. So when I still have to play tricks in my mind sometimes and think about that when I need to do something and I don't want to get up early or whatever.
Like he got up at 3:30.
Them 5 a.m. classes that I was like, my dad did it.
My dad
I
did
can
it.
do it too.
For 38 years.
Yeah, but see, and then that still amazes me, man. But he did it for what? The family.
Family.
He had to provide, you know.
The family. So fearless at it too, because even to this day, like we were just talking, he was over at the crib and we were talking about something with ministry, and he's just so fearless. We need to do it. We need to do it. He's never fearless of moving forward, especially, you know, when you're making big moves, whether it's real estate or buying something that you've never bought before. He's so progressive on moving forward. But no, you're 100% right, man. He's just that dude, man. 9, this is my last one. And then you finish with 10, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Let's do a good one, man. You know, with the subject title, Did Your Father Raise You? I know we're the unicorns that majority of people didn't have their dad. And a lot of people, and I say majority, but a lot of people. And then even more, the percentage go down when you talk about parents or kids that grew up with their mother and father in the same household, right? So I know I'm part of that, but the cool thing that I would like to bring out that my dad did, because as we future this series, a lot of people can connect and say, man, my father wasn't in my life, or my father didn't, you know, wasn't as consistent or didn't do the things he could have done. And we're all learning, right? And everybody's a father for the first time, right? But then there's some people in my position that did have a father. And my dad did have a father, right? The thing that I want to point out for my number 9, Milton, that I cherish that my dad has done, and I'm going to do it every breath of my life, is honor your mother and father.
Right.
Like, man, my number 9 is that my dad honored his mother and his father every second of their life. Like, I truly, to this day, Milton, and I want to bring Dad on, I don't know all the details between him and his father, but I didn't know it. Like, looking back now, the only way I would know that is because he told me now, because I asked him.
Yeah.
But from my age of when I knew Grandpa, by going, you know, to Fifth Ward, Sampson Street, we'll just go sitting there, Daddy would cut his hair, we'll talk. Like, I would never know. It's just like, man, he's doing what he's done. But after I've gotten older, I noticed that, you know, maybe Grandma and Grandpa did separate. It had to be some tension somewhere, but I would have never known that by the way that Daddy honored his father. Same thing with Grandma. Like, she passed, I think, when I was 10, so I didn't get to experience as much life with her. But the memories that I do have, and for the rest of his siblings, like, they love Grandma.
They love,
you know what I mean?
Mother.
And like mother, right? Honor, like, even to this day, just he'll choke up here and there when he talk about Grandma, and he just honor his mom and dad. So, like, for me, that's been my thing. I want to honor, and I gave my mom everything. And any night, any day, I can go to sleep with peace in my heart, because I've always felt like I gave my mother every second of her life that I've known her. I was able to say I honor her, like, and it brings a smile to my face to be able to say that. And even to this day, my father, like, man, I honor him to the utmost. Sometimes, you know, it's funny because he be right 98% of the time. And when he tell you some things, because he's so raw with the way he presented, sometimes you be like, come on, Dad, like, you tripping.
Yeah.
And then eventually you come back, you be like, dang, he be knowing his stuff.
He was right.
So definitely trying to honor him in everything that I do. But I say this to you, bro. Honor is such a unique situation, because everybody don't have the privilege to honor a mother or to honor a father. If you have a mother or a father, you honor them, man. I know there's differences and things may have not been done the way that it could have been done, but understand your mother and father or grandma or grandfather, they were only a parent once in their life, which was with you. So honor them, man, because from my belief, I believe it gives you longevity and gives you peace. So that's my 2 cents on that. Milton, take us home with number 10. What you got?
Number 10, I would just have to say honesty. His raw honesty.
He gonna be raw with it too, y'all.
And you know, a lot of people, with our belief system, you kind of, because he's a minister, you kind of put minister on this pedestal or in this box that they don't do nothing fun and all of that. But man, my dad is the realest.
He's off the chain.
He's not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but he's gonna say what's on his mind, and he's gonna get right to the point. He's gonna give it some shock value.
He's always
in
been
which
that way.
it's going to make an imprint in your head, and you're gonna remember it.
Yeah.
So there's so many times like I can just think of things that he said that just helped me get through situations. You know what I mean? Like some of the stuff I don't want to talk about because, you know, I was a alpha male, old school, grew up on early's rap, you know, so I was influenced by a lot of that. I couldn't imagine navigating through all of that misinformation without my dad's just being, hey, you know what? If you're gonna do this at home. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do that, do this at home. Come home and do this. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you be here and do this than be out in the streets. That type of mindset, you know?
Man.
Never beat me on the head with the Bible. Oh, God said, no. And he'll tell you, no, if you do this, this is gonna be the outcome. You know what I mean? And it'd be real stuff that you're really dealing with. Like, it might be girls. You know, there's some bad stuff out there that you can't get rid of. You know, he ain't beating you over the head like, oh, you know, it's a sin, this and that. Nah, it's so you do the wrong thing, you're gonna have to live with that for the rest of your life.
Can't get rid of all them ABCs.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it was just real. It was never fake. Like it was never, and it was just, dang man, it's crazy because you learning all these lessons, and it's just funny. Like you hear the boys, they learn so many lessons just by watching, and it's just like having that presence. Like one of the reasons I probably love to play video games is he loved to play video games. He would come home and play Pac-Man for 2 or 3 hours on the Atari, y'all. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I mean, we developed those habits, but he was at home. His presence was there. You know, it's sometimes like it being in a relationship with anybody.
That's the whole point.
You know what I mean?
That's the whole point you just said.
Just presence, right?
Presence. Number 11.
No, number 11, presence.
Presence. Be there.
Be there, man. You don't have to do nothing special.
Do you remember Daddy clubbing?
No, not.
Even when he partied before, like when he partied at home.
It was home. It was couples coming home. And they didn't do guy trips and girl trips and, you know, happy out with the guys. Our parents didn't do that.
My dad was like, he was all in with mama.
Yeah.
And I mean, they would have stuff like barbecues.
Yeah, but it was always family. But I don't ever remember them taking like, oh, me and the guys going like how we do.
I need a break. I do be needing my breaks though.
I don't look at it as a break. I look at it as doing things that I like to do that she might not like to do.
That's a break, bro.
I don't know.
He basically saying, if I go to New York to go watch the Texans play, I want to be able to go and wake up late. I want to be able to go eat a quick breakfast. I want to be able to go straight to the game. I want to be able to tailgate after the game. That's basically saying you need a break to make your own decisions.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case,
I'm messing with him.
If that's the case,
I'm messing with you.
Nah, but it's just to get back to the point.
Yeah.
You know, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's real.
I don't remember no breaks and no guys. I mean, I guess going fishing every now and again.
We have to ask him. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah. You know what? I hear stories of when he was younger. Mm-hmm. You know, but I guess like now we evolve. You know what I mean? We get better. And man, I'm not bashing guys trips stuff. Like times have changed.
I believe in guys trips.
I think it's healthy for relationships, honestly.
But I do.
But I was using that as a point on like how present my dad was there. Like he was just present. Like even when he wasn't there, you knew he was at work or you knew he was at family's house. It was just he was there.
Daddy made marriage look so cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just think about it. I hated it at the time. Oh, I hated it at the time. But we used to take these overnight camping trips.
Oh yeah, I
Because
remember those.
we were fishermen, right? My parents were fishermen. So mosquitoes, you got to remember, there's no iPads, no phones, no nothing. You had a pen and paper and some cards and dominoes.
Cards, yeah.
Right? But he made that, looking back, man, I wish I can get it back.
Yeah.
You know, he would do a great job getting the family go fishing, get the family go barbecue. And looking back now, we had a big family, a lot of siblings. So it wasn't like, hey, I didn't get on an airplane until I got 17.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, my dad took us to Hawaii, my dad took us to the DR. I remember Galveston being such a big trip to us,
Yeah,
but everything we did, he did it where we were all together. So I don't ever regret or say, man, I wish we'd went to Hawaii, Milton, when I was 10. I just remember I have so many positive memories of us being together because he was such a homebody. He was such a person that wanted to be around his kids. He was such a person that wanted to be around his wife, and he didn't separate it. You know what I mean? And that's why I think I strive the way I strive in my marriage, is because I want to be like my dad.
And I would say that to anybody that's listening too, is that, you know, sometimes I think as a man, if you don't feel like you're providing financially to the level that you desire, sometimes you know, we'll beat ourselves up ahead, or we'll do things that start to self-destruct. But just understand that, like, more than any of the money that you have and with your children, it's gonna be your presence that's the most
100%.
valuable.
We just said that in another
You
podcast.
can have all of the money in the world and not be present, and
They don't remember money.
and your kid gonna turn out to could be a little turd. You ain't never.
Do you ever remember anything financially growing up where you was like, oh, my dad gave me $100 today, or my dad didn't give me $100? Or do you remember your dad taking you fishing or coming to a football game?
Yeah, I remember. I remember. You remember the times.
That's it. You don't
know
remember
what I
the
mean?
money.
You remember the experiences. You remember Christmases. I mean, there's a couple toys I remember, but
that's the experience. It's not money.
Yeah. You
can't go back and say, hey, bro, I remember Daddy making $30,000 that year.
Oh yeah, no, nothing like that.
But we making decision as men sometimes not to move forward because
we don't feel like
I'm only making $30,000 this year, so I can't be a father, or I can't be as impactful as a big brother.
Nah.
No, you can be impactful. Bro, go be impactful.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that
was good.
It's been a good journey so far. I'm excited about where we're going. I'm excited about the present moment.
That's good.
But I'm excited about this podcast. I've been enjoying them. I'm glad you enjoy.
Hopefully this won't be your last time.
No, I'm sure we can. I would like to do a couples thing because I would like to do that. But we'll talk more about that later. Yeah, man, I'm proud of you too, bro. Now, I don't get a chance to tell you a lot often. But I'm proud of you. I've been proud of you since you was a little boy. You've always been the type of person that you implement. Even when you was a little boy, all you had to do is tell you once, and you go implement it. And then that's half the battle. It's just implementation, you know. And even if you fail, you'll get up and do it again. You'll continuously implement. So man, keep implementing whatever you think of. Keep implementing. Keep being persistent, man. I'm proud of you. I love you, man. You always been genuine. You know, you've always just been a solid, strong person. Even as a little boy, just strong. Like you're comforting to be around. You know what I mean? I did realize young that, like, man, I like really hanging out with my little brother more than I like hanging out with most people. Like, we hung out a lot. Like when I was especially when I got like in college and stuff. Like when you're in high school, your head's a little foggy and all of that. But when you start getting a little older and you start seeing how the world really is, and then you have some bad experiences with people that you were close to, and you realize, like, man, now these are my people right here.
Yeah, man.
And then when you make good friends and brothers, relationships, you can identify, man, this is like my brother. And I think one reason we have, because you got a lot of friends too, like, you know, that you are close with. And I think that stems from just having a brotherhood.
Yeah.
You know what it feels like, and you know when it's fake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, nah, man, keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you. Always been proud of you. You always stepped up, and I find joy in seeing, you know, you be successful in everything that you do. I find it's just like, it's rewarding. You know what I mean? To be like, man, I had an impact on this kid's life. Because one time I can think of specifically, man. I don't know if a kid was getting bullied at y'all school, or y'all were being mean to some kid, and I told you, I don't know if you remember, I said, man, don't bully kids, don't treat kids bad, stand up for them. You know, you want to be an athlete, right? You want to go to the NBA, right? Those will be your biggest fans. And and you stop doing it, like you stop doing it.
I don't remember that, but I remember wanting to fight people that bullied like people that went to school with me. And now that I have done that and came across people, or they've done my gym, they remember that. True story.
Yeah. So, and
oh, y'all see why I be pumped up? Y'all see why I be amped up all the time? I got people like that that got my back.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I love you, man.
It's
Thank
awesome.
you. That means the world to me. And everybody else, man, look, I hope you enjoyed my big bro. Obviously, we can chop it up all day, every day, and we're probably going to do it for the remainder of today. But I do want to encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notifications. But I'm going to get my father, a.k.a. Homie G, a.k.a. Chili, a.k.a. Pastor, whatever you want to call him. My goal is to get him on for the next show. If you have any questions you would love for me to ask a man that has been married for 38 years, a man that has been married multiple times, right? A man that have had children before he got married, right? Like there are some things. He actually didn't have a child before marriage. He just had
They got married.
So
got married
if you had any questions that you would like for me to ask him, definitely comment below because I'm going to have him on as a guest. But hey, man, make sure y'all show my big brother some love. Share this podcast. And I think that's it. I think we can drop the mic, man. I think we.
Yeah, because I could talk to you all day about this, man. This is fun. This is fun.
It's fun.
Hopefully, I hope somebody watches this and hears something that just help motivate them to make a positive choice.
That's it.
So this is good, man. I think men need to hear this. Men need to.
Men speak.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. So with that being said, we love you guys. Share. Thank you. We talk to you soon. Y'all stay blessed. Appreciate you. Easy.